content developer for Safe Haven, a hate-motivated incident and extremism response project for Dublin City Interfaith Forum here in Ireland. I'd like to thank the Network for Religious and Traditional Peacemakers for the opportunity to speak with you today. I was also asked, how do I see that community resilience to violent extremism can be supported? And I suppose it's about looking at three things. Coalition building, and that is actually working with local authorities, police, government agencies, and civil society and other communities. Working in collaboration with other faith traditions, using inter-religious dialogue and restorative work, encouraging networks to develop between faith traditions to strengthen mutual understanding, respect and trust. And I suppose, to put it in very concrete terms, to be a good neighbour in faith. And then to do that, one also has to recognise that they must be reflexive. And they have to be reflexive in relation to understanding their own sort of potential biases and issues, and also recognise that, in order to embrace the challenge of interfaith work and working with different communities that you wouldn't normally expect to work with, I would say that reflect back on your own strength in your own tradition, your own faith, and also recognise that if you're strong in your own tradition, in your own faith, that you'll embrace the challenges that come with the opportunities for interfaith work. And I would say that you would actually be very surprised at how quickly you will come to identify areas of common concern amongst different communities, very diverse communities that you would not normally expect to be working with. So I was asked, did I use restorative practice in my work? Well, yes. I use applied restorative practices. The focus is on the individuals and the harm that's been caused at an individual level and also with communities, and looking at towards providing those supports, finding signposts and building trust. But it's really essential that we look towards moving from the past incident into the present and the impact it's having, but very importantly towards a future of hope, a future where we can actually empower those who've been harmed to make the decisions and choices for themselves as to how they can actually move on with their lives. I was also asked, what skills do you need to work with diverse communities? And we kind of touched on that a few minutes ago, but what I would say is that faith leaders and faith communities have a natural tendency towards empathy and patience and the trust of their communities. They're in a position of privilege, even if they feel they're being disadvantaged by the wider community. And I would ask those who are leaders within their respective communities to apply those same skills and become a bridge to your community, not a gatekeeper. And I think that's an essential thing if you want to sort of engage with diverse communities. Be reflexive. And as a practitioner, you, as I said earlier, you need to be aware of potential unconscious biases that may be at play. And if you feel resistances, ask yourself why. And that's okay. Just ask yourself why. And then, again, try and address those particular issues. Engage in active listening. Don't judge. And I suppose it's very difficult sometimes, but resist the temptation of trying to fix it for the other person. Allow for the individual to be able to come to the conclusion, the decisions or the choices themselves. Be a guide and not a fixer. And I hope that gives some idea of Safe Haven, some of the experiences, some of the lessons learned that have been accrued from this project over the past few years. And if you are interested in learning more, feel free to contact me at any stage, and I'm sure we'll have a very interesting conversation or two. I look forward to hearing from you, and I wish you the very best in your efforts towards peace building, engaging in interfaith and restorative work in the areas of hate and extremism. The best of luck.